Back at home, feeling misunderstood. In between these ears, ain't nothing good.
3, 2, 1. Okay, nobody's bracket is safe anymore.
Is alive/safe.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're like me, your bracket was thrown out after the third day.
I started off. Some of the early upsets were fun for me to watch because I had the team that got upset going one more round, and then Virginia happened, and I realized, oh fuck, this is gonna be one of those years. And then Illinois happened, and I was like,
oh man,
you gotta be kidding me.
Honestly, so much. It's so much fun. Look at the Battle of Illinois on Sunday morning. So much fun to watch. Loyola Chicago, Illinois.
I turned that on, yeah.
Yeah, Sister Jean.
Yes, Sister Jean, who I was listening to Part of My Take, and their big takeaway from that game is Sister Jean had lost the ability to clap. She just kind of taps.
She just taps the head and lets it go.
But Cameron Krutwig.
Oh, the guy with the mustache?
Yeah, the guy who looks like me.
the best mustache in college basketball?
6'7", probably like 360. Not solid.
Oh yeah, he's
not solid. Not solid. But
he dominated Coburn.
He did. He's got some looks, and Kofi Coburn, as genetically and freakishly gifted as he is, could handle a little fat white guy. So
that's why I love this March Madness so much.
What the hell?
Because did you see the pregame quote unquote prayer that Sister Jean said? He's like, I pray.
She was praying for like field goal percentages.
Yeah, for field goal percentages.
Sister Jean's. You want Sister Jean in your corner. That's for one.
She knows what she's doing.
Please, hey. Sister Jean, if you want to... I mean, I know the Bears suck. The Bengals are not that far away.
Yeah, help the Bengals out a little bit.
Just send us a prayer. Just win a playoff game. That's honestly all I'll take. Like, one playoff game since 1991. Just pray for it. And I know
she knows what she's doing. And look, Loyola Chicago, man, they're no longer Cinderella.
No.
I think we can...
Oh, that's the other... That's one thing. So let's... I want to do this by bracket because otherwise we'll miss something.
Because we'll go all over the board. We can go into all these.
Yeah, let's start with the Midwest because that's Illinois, Loyola, Chicago. Illinois kind of got fucked because Loyola Chicago is not an 8 seed.
That is the worst seeding they could have got. I said it before that the best 8-9 game was going to be North Carolina, Wisconsin, but Baylor rolled through them. We'll get to that in a minute, but. If you were Illinois and you saw the 8 seed was Loyola Chicago in your bracket, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed.
It was not a good draw at all.
The Big Ten champions. Oh, we'll get to the Big Ten a little bit later. I got some funny stuff for that. The Big Ten champions.
I got some bad stuff for the Big Ten. It's coming.
Who were quote unquote the best conference in college basketball, coming in that hot, and you get faced with the 8 seed Loyola Chicago, who is damn good and has Sister Jean on their side. That is a nightmare. That is a nightmare.
They had in their going into the Sweet 16, they were going to get Oklahoma State, which is not easy. They had Cade Cunningham. Out of all the 1 seeds, they probably, would you say they had the hardest region? Because they had West Virginia.
Well, I mean, look, I thought all along it was the East with Michigan, Florida State, and Alabama, and then also Texas being the 3 seed. They also all lost. But I mean, look, this bracket is just so this Midwest region is just so everywhere.
Yeah,
like so everywhere. Loyola Chicago, I thought Georgia Tech was going to give them a run for their money, and they ran through Georgia Tech. And then you get into the Illinois game where you have nothing to lose, and Kofi Coburn and Ayo Dosunmu are already looking toward the NBA draft apparently because they didn't show.
I don't know what they were. I mean, I just still can't believe that it's Loyola Chicago and Oregon State.
Attention, Oregon State was the predicted as the worst team in the Pac-12 this season.
They're Villanova, who won like 7 games in the regular season and won their conference tournament, stole a bit.
Or they're Georgetown, you mean? But yeah, Georgetown. You mean. But look, Oregon State, kudos to them because the state matchup where they also have to face the best player in the country, Cade Cunningham. That's because they go through Tennessee, which I had them beat Tennessee anyways. I was one of the people that picked that. I'm gonna raise my hand to that because the rest of my bracket was shit, but I got that one right.
Yeah, it was a 12-5. So
and then they go through Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham and the Pac-12, man. Bill Walton said it best: "Conference of Champions, baby. Conference of Champions."
I wrote about it in my. I think I tweeted about it actually. For as bad as they were in the fall, they're fucking up the spring championships. That's for sure because the 8 seed in one of the wrestling brackets won the national championship. from Stanford, and that's Stanford's losing their wrestling program after this season.
That was a pretty cool story too. I saw.
Yeah, I save Stanford wrestling. Look it up if you have the means and want to help that program.
But look, the Pac-12, they have 4 out of the 5 teams that came to the tournament still in.
Yeah.
The only team that lost was the Buffs, unfortunately. But but look,
Florida State was the. We don't have to get that. Florida State was the perfect team to shut down when the Buffs do.
Look, UCLA, you have USC, Oregon, you have Oregon State, and there's one more, isn't there? No, there's only 4. So 4 out of 5 teams. Still,
the Big Ten brought like 10 and only have 1.
Oh, they have 9 teams in, and they have 1 team left.
Yeah. So
they got their ass whooped out of Indianapolis. Said, "Have fun, go have a nice, safe drive home."
Yeah, it's a short drive, but go have a nice ride home.
Oh man,
the Big Ten's tone was set after the Ohio State game. It was not going to be a normal.
It was not at all. And then going back into this Midwest region, man, look, we are having. If you don't know who Buddy Buckets is right now, do yourself a favor, go watch some Syracuse highlights, because everyone knows Jim Boheim and the Syracuse team that runs the 2-3 zone into the death. Because they ran the 2-3 zone for 30 years, and come every March, no one can figure it out. Nobody can figure it out. But they have some kids. They have Jim Boheim's son, Buddy Boheim, that comes in and can shoot the lights out. He dropped 30 against West Virginia, and they got a bunch of just players that don't look like they should be on the basketball court.
But a bunch of nobodies. Yeah.
A bunch of guys that can't guard you 1-on-1, but they can lock into a 2-3 defense, and it's very, very hard to stop.
I can't believe that's. By the way, that's one of the games we're doing on Colorcast, and that's Saturday night.
Saturday night, yep.
Houston versus Houston, Buddy Buckets, which will be fun. Might have to throw in some barbs at Syracuse because they're supposedly the best broadcasting school, and I didn't get an offer. Didn't even get the chance to get in. The Midwest bracket. Who would have thought that we'd have Houston, Syracuse, and then Loyola Chicago and Oregon State.
Yeah, the most random.
Figuring out who's gonna
be going to the Final
represent
Four.
that region. Let's go ahead. Let's move to the East now because we did the Georgetown-Colorado game. Colorado looked amazing in that game.
And they looked damn good. I mean, look, they broke between CU and Georgetown, they broke the single game 3-point record in a March Madness game. So that was a lot of fun to call because we saw a hell of a high score.
There was a lot of 3-pointers, and basically every time a Buff put up a shot, it was going to go in. Yeah. Jabari Walker.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. Jeez.
Buffs didn't do that bad, Boomer.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's still shaken up, obviously, about
the Sooners.
Yeah,
the Sooners as well.
Oh yeah. The only good thing that saved him was Abilene Christian, the guy that got on national television doing horns down. By the way, everybody who's watching and listening in Texas, just turned us off again.
Yeah, I mean, because Texas is in this region. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Abilene Christian, shout out that team, man. Look, because Abilene Christian will be in the WAC next year. Mm-hmm. So GCU will face them 4 times a year. Can't wait for that matchup. It's gonna be a lot of purple on the screen. But man, Texas confirmed not back.
Yeah.
Shaka Smart got his hair back before Texas came back in football and basketball. Put that in perspective.
I bet you Matthew McConaughey is going to shave Shaka Smart's head again.
Everything is not all right. Texas.
Houston, Houston doesn't have a problem. Texas,
we have a problem.
A big problem.
Austin, we have a problem.
Yeah, Austin, they brought the ice storm with them to the tournament because they were not there. Abilene Christian upset them as the 14.
Another Texas school.
Yeah, 14-3. And then Alabama, did Alabama make it through to?
Yeah, they got through Iona. Frank Pitino, pretty story, didn't die through. And then Maryland beat up on UConn. That wasn't really that noteworthy, but Maryland did roll through.
And then Alabama beat UConn.
Yeah,
Maryland
putting up 96 points, which is a steamrolling.
Sorry, Scott Van Pelt.
And then we had 8-clap UCLA, one of the first 4 teams making a little bit of run, beating BYU, and then obviously they were the favorite over Abilene Christian, but still pretty cool for a team that was in the first 4. There's usually always at least one team that was in the first 4 to make some sort of run, and that's really cool to see at UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA is one of the most storied basketball programs in the country. Now into the second round, we had Lsu Michigan. Michigan took care of business.
Oh, they rolled through that.
Yeah,
it only got close toward the end because they got the subs in.
And they're missing
Livers. Yeah, they're missing one of the better players.
But it wasn't like it was their because that was a good comparison that I was hearing. It wasn't their most talented player, but it's the player that everybody else on the floor, all the attention goes to them, and then it's Rivers who's left open, and he's just
he's
really good in that situation.
He's a really, really good role player. And that's nothing against Rivers, because Rivers is a bucket.
I mean, role players are what kind of drives championships, especially
March Madness tournament.
Yeah, so that's definitely a big blow to them, but they've looked fine so far in the tournament.
I mean, it's the Big Ten though, so we could see something weird happen.
And the fact that it's Michigan and Michigan's
Michigan's
everybody knows that Michigan's in kind of a hole when it comes to sports.
Coming through in the clutch.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten now is firmly in the hands of Michigan after they had 9 teams in and they only have 1 left going into the Sweet 16.
Michigan hasn't been clutch since Thomas Brady was taking snaps for the Wolverines.
That is a very long time.
So that's what we have there. The Florida State CU matchup, it was disappointing, but honestly, Florida State was set up to beat CU because McKinley Wright, he's great, but when he's being guarded by somebody who's 6'8" at his position, that's a physical mismatch that you're not going to win most times.
Florida State has some of the best size. Pause on that in the tournament.
Oh, they got some length.
They got some
girth.
Not only girth, they have a lot of length, and Florida State, they're going to be very tough. I think Michigan. I have Florida State winning against Michigan because I have Florida State in my Final Four, one of my few teams I have left.
Shout out J-Dash.
So, but look, Michigan, I think Florida State, it's going to be a damn good game. That's going to be probably one of the better games of the weekend. Don't be surprised if Michigan gets upset here by Florida State. Because Florida State, like I said, Colorado, they just ran out of fuses. Yeah. That's what we were worried about in the previous game because they were shooting the hell out of the ball. And they went dead cold in the first half. And so, I mean, so did Florida State. Both teams went dead cold in the first half.
Yeah, it was really close, and then Florida State pulled away in the second half. It was...
CU just lost their juice. And shout out to McKinney Wright. He 4-year starter for CU. He had a hell of a Colorado career, but it's unfortunate they weren't able to get too far. But like I said, they were one of the better Pac-12 teams in this bracket.
And they got a really good recruiting class coming in. We talked about Julian coming in, the quarterback for Cherry Creek, our old high school. He's a really good basketball player. He'll be there next year. So it's not like Tad Boyle's. Hey, this wasn't a Cinderella team that Tad Boyle just barely got into the tournament. They were a 5 seed for a reason. They almost won the conference. And the team that they lost the conference to is still playing.
Yeah, so, Jabari Walker's a freshman too.
Jabari Walker
will be back. There's no doubt about it.
They're in a good place. And then for the other matchup to get to the Elite Eight,
we have one of the biggest football schools against one of the biggest basketball schools. Because UCLA is what you call a basketball school. That is the basketball school.
John, if you've ever heard the name John Wooden, that's where he coached, was UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA is basketball, and Alabama is football. So this is the biggest...
You ever heard of the guy named Paul Bryant? He coached at Alabama, football-wise, though.
So I think it's going to be a very fun matchup. Because UCLA is surprising a lot of people. Alabama, I didn't think they were going to go very far, but they're surprising people.
They got Chuck to say Roll Tide. They got Charles Barkley to say Roll Tide.
Yeah, that's just very surprising as an Auburn grad for him to do that.
I never thought that I'd hear him say those words. But out of that region, I mean, I know your pick probably still isn't in the tournament for the Final Four in that region.
No, my pick is in the Final Four for East because I have Florida State. But that could easily be gone on Friday, I believe, or on Sunday.
Do you still think that Florida State...
I think Florida State can get through Michigan. I think the Final Four team will be either Michigan or Florida State. Because I think whoever wins that matchup can get through Alabama or UCLA. Okay. So I think that's where the Final Four will come through out of that matchup.
Yeah.
But like I said, my bracket's already in the trash, lit on fire, spit at, gone out the window.
Yeah, I think I had Texas in my Final Four matchup against Gonzaga here. So...
Hey, Gonzaga still at least you still the national champ.
That's still. I have a pretty big matchup coming up again, and that's the other game that we're doing, Gonzaga Creighton.
We can segue that into the West region.
Yeah, the West region, but in my personal, not in the podcast bracket, in my personal friends bracket, I picked Gonzaga to win the national championship. My buddy goes to Creighton, and he picked Creighton to win the national championship, and they play in this round.
Oh, he picked Creighton to win the national championship?
Oh, he is the. He started with his team and put his team winning all the way through.
Okay. So when I did it with GCU having them win it all. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was like, hold on, is he must be a Creighton fan? I was like, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of concussions. Played offensive line for a while. Went to Highlands Ranch High School, so education. But so for the West region, Gonzaga obviously it just looked pretty dominant. They started off a little bit slow against Oklahoma, but came back and showed up.
Yeah, I texted you as the game started because Oklahoma got up to a 12-3 run, and then after that, Gonzaga just poured it on.
Yeah, no, Gonzaga is kind of flexing their muscles a little bit too, because didn't they have an alley-oop off the glass against Norfolk State?
They were just having fun out there.
Yeah, they're showing. They're kind of doing what Houston does, because Houston knows they play in a shitty conference, but they play the really bad teams in their conference really well. So it's bad scores, it's big scores, and that's what Gonzaga's going. They're going for style points and proving why they're the number one seed in the tournament. They made it all the way through to the Sweet 16, obviously, and then Creighton barely snuck by the Guanchos of UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, the Gauchos. We were watching that game as we were in between games. We were casting, but yeah, I had UCSB beating them. So that
was my first Island pick. Honestly.
Yeah, so I hope Gonzaga wins so that my UCSB pick doesn't look that stupid. But I mean, I think one of the bigger surprises has to be Ohio. Mm-hmm. Ohio coming in and beating the lineal champs. They didn't just come in; they smacked them. Jason Pearson. I think it's Person, but it came in. LaMelo Jr., like you said, one of the best stories out of this whole tournament. Came in, balled out for them. They came up with the upset. And then you look at the rest of this bracket. I mean, everyone thought Iowa was going to be something. And yes, I picked Iowa to beat the Lopes, unfortunately. My Lopes did come up short. It was sad boy hours over here. But you know what? I'm glad. I was just happy to see my team in. But Iowa got their cheeks clapped by Oregon. Oregon put up 95 points and rolled through Iowa. It's very unfortunate that Luka Garza didn't have any help. No. Because, look, Luka Garza is one of my favorite players to watch this in college basketball.
Do you think he's ready for the program?
I just don't know if he's ready for the pros. That's just what I'm worried about. Because, look, Garza is bullying kids that are smaller than him. The NBA, it is as big as you can get. Pause on that.
Oh, he's not. But I saw he's not doing half of the moves that he did on Saturday.
On Saturday, against the small kids, yeah, it's a bigger centers.
I mean, even against power forwards, like if he tries to do that against Giannis, that's not going very well. If he does it against AD, he's not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think he could easily still be a good bench player for the Nuggets. Hopefully, Nuggets pick him up in the second round. I would told
everybody's following us on Twitter at FEOTV Pod. Saw my Christmas wish.
I would love that, man. You can't wear 55 because he's retired, but give him like 00 or something. I would buy a Luka Garza 00 jersey. I think you would too.
I probably.
That's the Nuggets jersey you would get. Luka Garza 00 jersey.
He's a big man. A 00, hell yeah. I don't know. He goes right from a retired jersey into something else. Maybe the Nuggets unretire it for him for a second round pick.
I don't know about that. That's a lot of
who's 55 retired for?
Yeah, so that number's not going to be
probably
touched.
Not going anywhere.
That's probably not going anywhere.
Geico will have something to say about that if we try and touch Mutombo's retired number.
But the other news out of the West was like we have the Pac-12 matchup in the Sweet 16. Oregon came through, beat Iowa, obviously. Then USC. I had USC in my Sweet 16. I was one of the few people that picked them over Kansas. And the Mobley brothers, they are balling. Evan Mobley is going to be a top 5 pick easily in the NBA draft. He's been playing outstanding on both ends of the court. One of the best defensive. He is Bull on crack. I'm sorry, but yes, that is very weird to say. But Mobley is much more developed and much more stronger than Bull was. And Mobley can step out, hit the three. Like that is literally the perfect comparison because Bull has that outside game and he's very just towering over everybody. Evan Mobley is the exact same, but the dude can take you off the dribble and has more of an offensive game. And Mobley is, man, he could make something, and USC could surprise people. I would be very interested to see a USC versus Gonzaga Elite Eight because I think that game would be fireworks.
Don't tell me that. Don't say that. I mean,
Jalen Suggs versus Evan Mobley. Jalen Suggs versus Evan Mobley would be a lot of fun.
No, I had Kansas getting through. I had Gonzaga beating. I think Kansas because I think I had Kansas beating Iowa. But this was about the time where I was contemplating if I had a paper bracket, I'd have thrown it in the fire.
Like I texted you on Sunday. I was like, yeah, Jimmy, next year I'm gonna try for an imperfect bracket and try to get every single matchup wrong, and I'm probably still gonna get something right. Yeah. Because like I said, I probably would have picked Oral Roberts to win if I was doing an imperfect bracket, and then they got to the sweet. Here we are, them at the Sweet 16.
Yeah, who would have thought? But I think there's a couple of things that we could try. I heard. Right after the Selection Sunday is announced, you take a bracket and you fill it out right then and there because you have all your recency bias. and then you fill one out right before the tournament, like right before you have to lock it in, and you go against everything that you put down.
I mean, you gotta try something different. I'm gonna have to try something different because it's like I said, it's terrible. I'm just so happy. Like I said, the last thing I'll say about this West Division is I'm very, very happy the Lopes were in there. It was a lot of fun casting it. Like I said, I did not. I mean, like I said, we're only a four-year program into the D1 and getting a chance to get into the big dance. Now we have the program set in stone. Now you just gotta work your way into a position like Loyola Chicago or a position like Gonzaga, which is very, very long ways away. But a position like that where you're dominating your conference year in and year out, and then top recruits want to come play for you. So that's where I'm hoping the Lopes are on the right direction. But man, it was a lot of fun watching them, even though we got our ass kicked by Luka Garza.
I mean, what I saw from Luka, that's not something that you can hang your head about. And he did it in a different way because he did it from the 3-point line.
He hit his first 2 threes, and I was like, well, here we go. This is how it starts.
Shit.
It was like, he's not only dominating in the post, now he's hitting threes. Yeah. Fuck, we're done.
You were like Petrangelo against McKinnon. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, here we go.
That's not Snowflake. That's not Snowflake. Let's move on to the South region. This is the only other Final Four team that's still in the tournament in my bracket.
This is a little less wackier, but still wacky.
Yeah, I mean, I have Baylor. Baylor is my other member of the Final Four. They're still in it, so hopefully they continue.
I had Baylor losing the second round, so there goes that. But I had Villanova. I had Villanova in my Sweet 16, and I was able to call that correctly. I actually picked North Texas to beat Purdue. I had that. Wow. If you don't believe me, I'll show you it. But yeah, I did have that. But that wasn't one of the matchups I picked. But one of the most unfortunate things was, I know you like your Arkansas Razorbacks, but man, Texas Tech was so much fun to watch. Mac McClung, bucket getter. And Arkansas, man, they barely held on by 2.
Yeah, I wanted Arkansas to have a little bit of a run just because I like the Muskrus.